Hello and welcome to another episode of Hot or Cold Take, where I give to you a take I have in D&D and you, the lovely commenters, tell me whether it's a hot or a cold take. And because apparently this needs clarifying from last time, a hot take is something that's unpopular or something you disagree with, and a cold take is something that's popular or you would agree with. Just clarifying, seems like some people didn't know on the last one. But make sure to comment whether you think this is a hot or cold take. So here's my take for this video. Failing in D&D is better than succeeding. Now before I dive into why exactly I think this, if you're new here, consider subscribing and enabling notifications so you get notified first when the videos go live, and give this video a like if you enjoy it. Alrighty, so failing in D&D is better than succeeding. I know what you're going to say instantly, but Pete, that doesn't make any sense. D&D is about overcoming all the obstacles, and if you never succeed, then you never overcome the obstacles. Yes, I know. Gonna get the obvious bit out of the way first. Obviously, failing all the time is no fun. You would never overcome any obstacles. Your players would get really jaded really fast, and it wouldn't make for a very fun environment while you're playing a game. So with that said, acknowledged, I get it, I get that one. Let's take that to the side. Failing's still better than succeeding. So first and foremost, Dungeons & Dragons is a cooperative storytelling game. Storytelling being the most important part of that. The idea is to tell a fun story with your friends. And I don't know if you've ever seen any stories before, but any stories where the protagonist just wins all the time is really boring. Because it doesn't matter what medium you want to look at, whether it's movies or books or TV shows or plays, anything at all that's got any sort of storytelling capacity in it, you can guarantee that there is some form of failure in the process, because that's what storytelling is. And in D&D, let's say, the DM presents you with a quest. Go kill the bad over there and then come back. And your party does that. You go over there, you kill that bad, and you come back and you get your reward. Cool. You had fun. Everyone's happy. You did the thing. Well done. But what if you did that quest and you failed? What if one of your party members died along the way? What if one of your party members got infected with lycanthropy and now you need to deal with the repercussions? What if you failed to save a civilian in time, or there was a hostage that you didn't know about and you watched them be killed in front of you and you couldn't save them in time? Now that's a story. Going on a quest to retrieve an item is a good story. Going on that same quest while overcoming a much larger obstacle is a great story. Now, as I mentioned before, if you look at any sort of storytelling medium in the world, you'll find failure peppered throughout it. Failure is literally part of the storytelling cycle. If you're not familiar with The Hero's Journey, which I believe was popularized by Joseph Campbell, don't quote me on that, it's a template for pretty much all heroic storytelling that you would have seen anywhere. Here's a simplified version of it. Essentially, an adventurer, or party of adventurers in D&D's case, are called to action. There are challenges and temptations along the way. There's some sort of turning point or revelation in the middle, which in turn changes the adventurer or adventurers. They atone and ultimately overcome the big challenge as a changed group or individual. Now, this template of storytelling can apply to a side quest, an adventure, a minor story arc, or your entire campaign, but the principles remain the same. The DM gives out the story hooks. In other words, the adventurers are called to action. They face challenges and trials along the way, such as deadly encounters with creatures. There is some sort of revelation or turning point. Oh no, the farmer's daughter turned out to be a werewolf and now she's bitten one of our party members who's got lycanthropy. The party takes that information on board and it changes the way the group works. It changes the dynamic of the group and it changes the individual that's part of the group, changing the way they overcome the problem, which they then eventually manage to do. Now imagine you have this storytelling cycle, but you don't have failure in it. You don't have the revelation of the farmer's daughter and the getting bitten with lycanthropy thing. There was just a werewolf and you kill it. There's no change in the party, no transformation, no adaptation to overcome this new problem. You're taking out one of the most crucial parts of storytelling if you don't fail. Failure is a part of success. Think about it in terms of in real life when you're looking at career options. You have to fail multiple times, and how many jobs did you apply for before you reached the one that you finally did, and how much sweeter was it when you finally got that job acceptance after you'd been rejected 17 times beforehand. But bringing it back to actual D&D and playing with your friends, yes, failing all the time will make your players very jaded. but so will succeeding all the time. There'll be no character development because nothing is forcing the players to change. And after a while, everything will feel the same because the characters are the same. There's been no revelation forcing them to change, and it may take longer, but succeeding all the time will still make your players very jaded, or at the very least they'll just get complacent and not treat anything like a threat because they don't have any stakes on anything, because they just win all the time. And this causes even more problems in and of itself in a storytelling sense, because if there's no stakes to anything, it doesn't matter if they're in some sort of deadly encounter with a dragon because they'll just win. It doesn't matter if they're talking to the supreme ruler of the continent that they're on, because they can always just talk their way out of it. Nothing has any stakes, and without stakes, there isn't a story. Failing makes succeeding better. But let's break it down even further, because so far we've talked about storytelling as this big all-encompassing thing. Let's talk about mini failures during sessions. Let's talk about natural ones. Rolling a natural one can be frustrating, sure, but only if you let them be frustrating. Natural ones provide so much more scope for storytelling than natural 20s, and that is a hill I will die on. Just think about it from the games you've played. Rolling natural ones during a funny scenario leads to some of the most memorable and funny moments during a campaign. Getting a natural one to impress some barmaid that you're infatuated with, and you end up tripping over your own feet and knocking the drinks into her, and now you need to try and smooth out the situation while the rest of the party laughs at you. That's great, that's funny. Natural ones always lead to the biggest laughs and the most memorable moments in a campaign. I'm just going to insert this clip of Travis Willingham getting 3 natural ones in a row from Critical Role Campaign 2 here for no reason.
Go ahead and make a dexterity check with disadvantage, please.
I didn't need that. That's a natural one.
You should have let me and Yasha pick you up.
No, I've got this. Resituate. A little bit of a glance. That's another natural one. 2 shit throws in a row. Can't get any fucking worse.
All right, so.
Oh.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
No!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes!
That's ridiculous!
Throw that away. You need to put that shit in jail.
Shouldn't have hit that woman with a sandbag.
Okay, but what if it's not a funny situation? What if it's serious and you roll a natural one? Well, that's still great. Failing your persuasion check on the Queen to stop them throwing you in jail? Well, it looks like you've got a jailbreak on your hands. How are you gonna deal with the consequences? You roll a natural one on a crucial attack roll to try and kill the big bad who's at a sliver of HP, and you miss, and then they dimension door away, and then there's nothing you can do to stop them, and you get so frustrated because you were so close to killing them and you just couldn't do it. Think of how much fire that gives your character. Think of the next time those 2 characters meet and what that meeting will be like. Or even, controversial opinion here, rolling a natural one on a death saving throw. You either automatically drop to 2 death saves and the tension is ramped up dramatically for your next one whether your character dies or not, or if you've already failed at least one, your character just dies. And no word of a lie, player characters dying in D&D is one of my favorite things, whether they're resurrected or not. How will the party cope with a death among them? How will, if the player gets resurrected, how will they cope having died and come back to life? There's so much potential for storytelling gold in that. I love it so much. The funny fails lead to the most memorable moments. The serious fails lead to the most memorable stories. Failing when playing D&D is about rolling with the punches. It's a game of die rolls, and you never know when you're going to fail. Don't get me wrong, succeeding can be awesome. When you roll that crucial natural 20 and you have a really awesome epic moment, that's great. But failing, especially on a large scale, can bring an entire party together and lead to some amazing character development, and it provides even larger obstacles for your party to overcome, which makes that eventual success all the sweeter. So yes, on the sliding scale of failure and success, the 2 extremes are bad on their own. But even if your campaign is just a very simple go out, kill the big bad and come back, you still need failures and obstacles in the middle, otherwise the eventual victory against the big bad will feel very hollow and unearned. Failure provides stakes, which makes good stories great. And that is why failing is better than succeeding. So what do you think? Is that a hot or a cold take? As another reminder, hot means bad, cold means good, or hot means I don't agree, cold means I agree. Just clarifying, just making sure, because the comments were quite confused last time. Thank you very much for watching, and please press the videos on the screen to catch up on more Warcaster stuff. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe, enable notifications, and leave a like as well. It really does help us out, and it will show me that you like it, and then I can make more stuff like this. That'd be great. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Pete Quinell. You can follow me on social media at Pete Quinell on Twitter and Instagram. And this was Warcaster.